planet canopies still hide colossal monuments. How did major settlements disappear? And what cautionary signs still remain? Welcome to Impossible Places, where we seek the guardians of ruins. Through the sticky clay of Colombia lies Tayuna, where tomb raiders once fought over gold. The Kogi still perform secret night rituals here, leaving coca leaves against an untold prophecy. In Sri Lanka, Sigiriya stands high, constructed by a ruler who entombed his living father. Its secret water conduits puzzle engineers, while stairs vanish into mist. Within Guizhou, a colossal half-done Buddha gradually blends into the surrounding woodland. We witness the friction between ambition and nature. Should certain sleeping giants be left undisturbed? Machu Picchu hides in Andean mist, mapped by a local farmer long before Western explorers claimed it. Was it Spanish weapons the Inca fled, or a far more lethal, invisible threat? In Jordan's heat, Petra reveals a carved rose-red treasury, fueled by genius flood routing systems. Bedouins protected this hidden spring until a disguised researcher secretly gained access. The south, Hegra stands in absolute silence, its tombs protected by ancient carved curses. And did researchers release an uncontrollable force when they cracked open the seals? These civilizations conquered impossible terrain, only to be swallowed by time. Once our own metropolises finally decay, what mysteries will we leave behind? From above, the dusty Peruvian dirt resolves into massive, mathematically precise Nazca drawings. Supposing these drawings targeted the skies, who exactly were the creators trying to reach? Nearby, the older Palpa geoglyphs crawl up steep hillsides, pointing directly toward the sea. Was this candelabra a guide for early mariners, or travelers from far away? In the Guatemalan jungle, Tikal's colossal pyramids were found strangled by giant roots. These people built advanced water filters, yet unexpectedly left their civilization around 900 AD. Nature always reclaims what human pride attempts to carve into eternity. Are we viewing our history or catching a glimpse of our upcoming destiny? History claims agriculture birthed civilization, but the 12,000-year-old pillars of Göbekli Tepe rewrite our past. Early, nomadic tribes constructed this rocky shrine well before they began farming any crops. And how did prehistoric humans carve such massive stone pillars without metal tools? Hidden within the thick Amazon, modern scanning tools now expose massive ancient cities buried under the jungle foliage. What we once thought was virgin jungle is actually a swallowed ancient metropolis. Such remnants demonstrate that the human story consists of a constant loop of creation and oblivion. We are not the first to conquer this wild planet, nor will we be the last. When the wild jungle swallows our grandest creations, what memories of our existence will persist? Will future explorers even realize we were ever here? Leaving the elevated Andes, we dive straight into Jordan's blistering desert heat. Relief only comes as you squeeze through the narrow, towering, thick canyon, suddenly revealing a massive treasury carved into pink sandstone. The Nabateans proved to be brilliant builders, channeling dangerous torrents into concealed subterranean tanks to support their bustling commercial hub. But after a devastating earthquake, the city vanished from Western maps, guarded secretly by Bedouins until a Swiss explorer infiltrated them in disguise in 1812. His personal diaries suggest hidden vaults below the treasury floor, sparking an eerie inquiry. And what did the Nabateans bury before the sand swallowed them? Journeying downward, the busy sightseers of Petra fade away, replaced by the deep, eerie stillness of Hegra. Up here, monolithic tombs sit carved directly into solitary sandstone boulders in the Saudi desert. Those massive monuments functioned as burial chambers for prominent army commanders, guarded by ominous engraved hexes. Because of the brutal desert heat, the 2,000-year-old chisel marks look incredibly fresh, as if the workers walked away just yesterday. Ominous messages etched over the entrances promise heavenly retribution for those who violate these tombs. And did the first archaeologists unleash something they couldn't control? Come, pausing amidst the soft breezes of Hegra, the ambitious creations of lost civilizations seem incredibly delicate. These civilizations conquered impossible mountains and harsh deserts, only to be swallowed by time. Real exploration is not about finding treasure, but understanding our finest works, our fleeting impressions on an uncaring earth. As the desert wind wipes away our footprints, a haunting thought remains. Once our own massive metropolises finally disintegrate, what hidden mysteries will we leave behind for future generations of explorers? From the dusty desert floor, the Nazca Lines look like random dirt paths. Yet, from 1,000 feet up, the barren ground transforms into distinct carvings of arachnids, small birds, and an immense human-like shape gesturing skyward. Created 1,500 years ago by removing dark iron-rich surface pebbles to reveal the light clay below, these massive figures showcase stunning mathematical precision. That renowned astronaut carving indicates a sophisticated grasp of mathematical design. Were these lines a massive astronomical calendar or ritual paths to summon water? However, if these creations were meant solely for skyward observation, what entity was the Nazca civilization attempting to contact? Nearby, the blinding glare of the Peruvian sun beats down on the older Palpa geoglyphs. In this place, amid gusts blow across sharp slopes where old dim portraits of soldiers and legendary creatures gaze out. Carved by the Paracas culture long before Nazca, these drawings cover rugged slopes and include the mysterious Paracas candelabra etched into a seaside cliff. Since they are positioned on hillsides, these illustrations were intended for terrestrial travelers rather than celestial deities looking down. Yet the giant three-pronged candelabra points directly out toward the empty ocean. Then, was this immense shape a marker for early mariners, or did it guide travelers from a distant realm? Further north, the emerald jungle of Guatemala hides the ruins of Tikal. As researchers first cleared paths through the dense jungle in 1848, they discovered immense rocky shrines being choked by the roots of massive ceiba trees. At its peak, this superpower housed 100,000 people, building massive pyramids without metal tools, pack animals, or the wheel. And the inhabitants even constructed advanced stone-lined basins containing quartz sand to purify their potable water supplies. Yet, this entire metropolis was suddenly abandoned to the jungle around 900 AD. Then, what drove them to abandon these magnificent structures, half completed, and depart for good? standing atop Tikal's highest temple as the sun sets. The calls of howler monkeys echo over a silent green canopy. From the arid illustrations of Nazca to the overgrown remains of Tikal, we observe the unavoidable end of human ambition. Come, the true mystery of these ancient ruins is not how they were built, but how easily they were forgotten. The wilderness always recovers what mortal vanity tries to engrave into eternity. As the shadows stretch over these forgotten monuments, one final question remains. Is this a reflection of our history, or are we gazing straight toward our eventual destiny? Forget everything your old history books taught you about how agriculture birthed human civilization. The immense 12,000-year-old rock columns at Göbekli Tepe demonstrate that early foraging communities constructed grand sanctuaries well before they began cultivating crops. Imagine the colossal physical effort required to chisel 20-ton limestone monoliths with nothing but primitive stone tools. Uncovered in 1963, this ancient shrine is older than the Egyptian pyramids by more than 7,000 years, displaying remarkably detailed carvings of predatory animals etched into stone. Yet the real mystery is not how they built this holy place, but why it vanished. Rather than merely deserting the location, these builders concealed the shrines beneath immense quantities of brought-in soil. Why did they decide to hide their greatest creation from the sun? Was the sanctuary hidden to shield it from some approaching disaster? Or did they aim to trap a frightening force within? Just a few miles away, the dry, dusty winds of southeastern Turkey sweep over Karahan Tepe, exposing an even older enigma. Journeying across the warm sands, one encounters eerie portraits of people and strange pillar shapes rising straight out of the native stone. Dating back 13,000 years, this site represents the absolute dawn of human construction, built by nomads who had no metal tools or agriculture. Within a unique rock room, a sculpted human face with a serpentine torso gazes directly toward 11 massive, lofty columns. The ancient, clever builders engineered this room to capture the shifting shadows of the sun, turning ritual initiations into dramatic theater. Could these ancient communities have been experiencing the dawn of humanity's earliest structured faith? Or does this stone face guard the memory of a dark, forgotten belief system that was violently erased from human history? Next, depart the arid heights of Turkey to enter the dense Ecuadorian Amazon, a verdant expanse that has concealed mysteries for thousands of years. We once thought this jungle was untouched wilderness, but LiDAR technology shattered that illusion. Concealed under the dense treetops is the Upano Valley, an extensive system of 2,500-year-old metropolitan settlements. Recently discovered plazas, fields, and highways prove that a highly complex civilization thrived here. They constructed a thriving haven within an unforgiving landscape, only for nature to ultimately turn against them. But look closely at the ruins, and you will find strange spiral petroglyphs and sudden signs of volcanic destruction. The adjacent highly volatile Sangay volcano frequently showered dark soot across the settlement, placing their continued existence in jeopardy. Did a catastrophic eruption finally wipe them out? Or did the survivors flee deeper into the uncharted green abyss to escape the fire? Observing the interred columns of Turkey while contemplating the quiet, leafy expanse of the Amazon, our traditional narrative of human advancement falls apart. These builders conquered impossible landscapes, only to disappear into the soil. Whether considering hidden sanctuaries or destructive soot, we realize just how vulnerable our great works remain. History is not an ascending line, but a cycle of building, forgetting, and starting again. We are simply fleeting visitors upon an unconcerned world. Nature always claims the final victory, turning our concrete and stone into dust and roots. With modern instruments exposing these monumental ruins, an unsettling truth becomes clear. When our own towering cities are eventually swallowed by time, what secrets will we leave behind for the next civilization that digs us up? And can we at last acknowledge that our past is significantly more ancient and vastly more vulnerable than previously believed? Travel brochures promise clean, serene stone faces, rising majestically above the trees of Angkor Wat. In truth, it requires a grueling trek across a dense, insect-ridden wilderness where ancient structures are crushed by massive snake-like tree roots. French naturalist Henri Mouhot put these ruins on the Western map in 1860. Still, this grand Hindu-turned-Buddhist temple complex was maintained by a civilization that reshaped major waterways for its own purposes. Look closely at the smiling stone faces of the Bayon Temple, said to represent King Jayavarman VII. Although they appear tranquil, contemporary scanning methods uncover a more sinister reality. An incredibly massive, hidden network of canals and neighborhoods lies buried beneath the forest floor, completely invisible to the naked eye. While the forest persistently and aggressively overtakes these sacred structures, we are left with a troubling query. Did a sudden, catastrophic collapse of their complex water system force the Khmer to abandon their sacred city overnight? Within the damp Belizean jungle, the loud cries of monkeys echo through the mist, while an immense stone jaguar face appears among the overgrown remains of Lamanai. Documented by Thomas Gamm in 1917, this ancient Maya city survived for over 3,000 years by dominating a strategic blackwater lagoon. Yet these decaying walls conceal an unsettling, defiant history. Beneath the temple of the jaguar, hidden chambers contain sacred offerings. Such hidden artifacts demonstrate that the resident Maya quietly maintained their outlawed faith directly beside the Spanish clergymen who established parishes nearby. Why did they risk execution to keep these rituals alive in the shadows? Did they seek heavenly salvation, or were they frantically attempting to hold a frightening presence beneath the marshy waters? From the jungle, we climb to the high Andes, where Spanish conquerors dismissed Sacsayhuaman as a simple military outpost. They were entirely mistaken. This is an architectural miracle made of giant, interlocking stone blocks, some weighing over 120 tons, stacked without a single drop of mortar. Originally documented by Pedro Sancho de la Hoz in 1533, the masonry is joined so precisely that not even a thin page can slide between the blocks. And how did they move these massive boulders from distant quarries without wheels or draft animals? Native Andean folklore provides a bizarre theory suggesting that a hidden herbal liquid could dissolve rock enabling craftsmen to shape the giant boulders like soft dough. As you stare at these towering zigzag walls built to mimic lightning, a mystery remains. Did Incan builders utilize some lost, advanced engineering, or did they employ a straightforward technique that we are merely failing to recognize? Finally, the sound of crashing waves leads us to Nan Madol, a quiet city of 92 artificial basalt islets built on a Pacific coral reef. Traveler John Kuberi mapped this seat of the Sodeler dynasty in 1874, sparking tales about the vanished land of Mu. We build massive stone fortresses to scream our power into the future, yet nature eventually silences our loudest achievements. While the water slowly covers the submerged stone pillars of Nan Madol, a disturbing thought remains. And when our own coastal megacities share this watery grave, leaving future explorers to guess who we were, picture plunging into a pristine equatorial lagoon, only to discover a massive, ominous structure lurking far below. Off Japan's Yonaguni Island, the warm azure water suddenly gives way to a massive submerged labyrinth of stone terraces. Huge level terraces, precise 90-degree corners, and soaring stairways appear remarkably handcrafted. A local diver stumbled upon this giant structure in 1986, sparking a fierce war among scientists. Could this be ordinary stone split by geological forces? Or did early civilizations carve these perfect round voids and dual pillars? And if humans built this ceremonial pyramid, they did it before the last ice age ended over 10,000 years ago. Which civilization held such sophisticated building knowledge prior to the beginning of written chronicles? We are left staring into the deep blue, searching for a long-lost civilization. The balmy, oceanic breeze of the Bay of Bengal delivers an age-old caution while ocean swells strike the shore temple of India. Nearby, a massive granite boulder balances precariously on a hillside, defying gravity. Regional folklore describes 7 splendid rock shrines of such beauty that they incense the weather deity Indra, who submerged 6 during a violent deluge. For centuries, modern historians laughed at the tale, dismissing the sunken temples as simple myth. Subsequently, the catastrophic 2004 tidal wave withdrew the ocean, revealing long-hidden rock walls and sculpted lions, moments before the torrent returned. Underwater archaeologists quickly descended and confirmed a massive sunken city lies off the coast. Did the sea conceal the precious ruins of the remaining 5 sanctuaries? Or does a more perilous mystery lie beneath the shoreline? We look to the Andes for stone fortresses, but the misty northern highlands of Ecuador hide a much softer secret. Interred under lush turf are 15 immense triangular mounds built solely from volcanic silt and earth. Built by the Quitukara culture over 3,500 years ago, these flat-topped mounds feature massive ramps stretching 200 meters. Built from fragile volcanic rock, these monuments demanded a continuous vast supply of workers simply to withstand the torrential downpours. It was a fragile monument, dependent on absolute social order to prevent it from washing away. However, archaeological digs uncovered numerous historic graves atop the terraces right before this culture disappeared. And did they deliberately abandon their sacred clay cities? Or did they destroy them to keep their ancestors safe from the invading Inca? Next, ascend into the sparse icy atmosphere of the Tibetan highlands, where gusts howl through a network of shadowy caverns. Before you stands Tsaparang, a ruined fortress carved directly into a sheer, pyramid-shaped clay cliff. This site served as the wealthy center of the Guj kingdom, commanding historic merchant paths, until a fierce 17th century assault destroyed it completely. Whether swallowed by the ocean, buried in clay, or frozen in Tibetan winds, our grandest designs are incredibly fragile. Humans construct giant landmarks not to dominate the earth, but to project our legacy into coming generations. As the sun sets over Tsaparang, the rumored inspiration for Shangri-La, we face a chilling truth. Did the inhabitants flee to a secluded sanctuary, or did they merely fade away into history? When our own modern towers fall, will anyone remember we were here? In 1963, a Turkish resident demolished an ordinary cellar partition, only to stumble straight into a massive 18-level underground city. This massive hideout once sheltered 20,000 people from invading armies, complete with heavy rolling stone doors and deep ventilation shafts. Far below, secret churches echoed with quiet, anxious petitions in complete obscurity, while dangerous foes occupied the bright world above. What dark secrets still lie at the bottom of the deepest, deliberately sealed shafts? Across the arid Utah wilderness, intense warmth rises from thousands of historic stone carvings etched within a twisting ravine. Come, Fremont artists risked their lives hanging from high, treacherous crevices to etch these sacred, mysterious stories. With the changing solar angles, concealed illustrations are revealed solely during certain times of day. Was this canyon simple art, or a functional survival map? Further within Canyonlands, full-scale, eerie crimson drawings tower above the ravine floor, depicted entirely without facial features or appendages. Microscopic analysis reveals the artist's mixed clay with real blood, preserving these haunting figures for thousands of years. Do these depictions represent sacred guides? Or did they observe something supernatural? From dark Turkish tunnels to high Utah cliffs, these ancient survivors carved warnings at humanity's absolute limits. Genuine heritage preservation isn't about fancy exhibits, but rather hearing these desperate, neglected voices from the past. As our own modern cities eventually turn to dust, are we decoding messages meant for the gods, or reading warnings left for us? Amidst the silent, scorched environment of Utah's Sego Canyon, the crimson stone cliffs show an incredibly disturbing sight. Instead of typical hunting scenes, you are stared down by giant, armless, legless shapes with hollow, haunting eyes. Created more than 1,300 years ago by the Barrier Canyon civilization, these spectral shapes stand above the arid ground like quiet extraterrestrial sentinels. Did you know that tribal traditions point to shamanic vision quests, where these walls acted as portals to a spirit realm? This prompts an eerie inquiry. Did these ancient shamans paint hallucinations from their trances? Or did they witness something terrifyingly real in the desert silence? Leaving the parched ravines behind, we step into the refreshing, fragrant darkness of Egypt's Temple of Dendera. Here, the serene, cow-eared faces of the goddess Hathor look down from colossal columns. Yet within the shadowy, cramped rock chambers, there exists an illustration that drives online commentators into wild speculation. The famous Dendera light resembles a massive modern bulb containing a slithering snake. Conventional scholars argue the image merely portrays a deity emerging from a lotus blossom, or yet the visual coincidence is undeniable. And could the early Egyptians have been testing a lost source of power, or are we merely imposing modern advancements onto their holy legends? In Cambodia, the humid jungle reveals a sacred masterpiece carved not into cliffs, but directly into the bed of a rushing river. Within Palspine, numerous sculpted stone monuments and Hindu deities remain covered under the constantly moving stream. In the 11th century, a paranoid king temporarily diverted this entire river just to carve these symbols into the sandstone. The ruler thought that streams passing across these etchings would become sacredly blessed, nourishing the vast paddy fields of Angkor further down. But did this elaborate hydraulic magic actually secure the empire's survival, or did it expose a desperate civilization facing ecological collapse? Pausing beside these roaring torrents, or studying Egyptian astronomical charts, one understands that ancient peoples were remarkably sophisticated, as, from phantom desert paintings to carved riverbeds, they used stone as an eternal hard drive to warn the future. Humans frantically examine ancient remnants seeking guidance, yet their cryptic symbols merely emphasize the vast knowledge we have lost. True discovery is realizing that we are not the first to attempt to conquer this earth. While these historical admonitions gradually erode, one ultimate mystery endures. And will we decode their messages in time, or will we also become a forgotten mystery for the next world to solve? Located shortly beyond the busy freeways of today's Mexico City, the immense Avenue of the Dead remains cloaked in profound, heavy quiet. A mysterious forgotten culture built these colossal stone structures centuries before the Aztecs ever arrived, and claimed them as the birthplace of the gods. The colossal pyramid of the sun is built from more than 1 million cubic meters of soil, positioned in perfect harmony with solar movements. Beneath the stone serpent temple, archaeologists recently breached a sealed, dark tunnel filled with liquid mercury, jaguar remains, and hundreds of mysterious golden spheres. Was it an abrupt, destructive internal conflict that shattered this historical sanctuary, or did the residents run from an unavoidable grim omen? Deep in India, the cool air inside the Ellora caves smells of ancient damp basalt and centuries of quiet devotion. At this location stands the Kailasa Temple, an astonishing structure double the dimensions of the Greek Parthenon, chiseled completely from one solid hillside. In the 8th century, ancient stonecutters removed over 200,000 tons of solid rock, working strictly from the top down. The builders cleverly concealed working gutters and air vents right inside the rock sculptures to endure intense seasonal downpours. Since modern archaeologists have never found a single blueprint or mistake in the solid stone, how did they achieve such flawless mathematical perfection? Disregard those scenic photographs. Scaling the peak of Mount Nemrut requires enduring icy gusts 7,000 feet over the vast Anatolian flats. Here, giant decapitated stone heads litter the gravel ground, staring out with hollow eyes like fallen guardians of a dead king. Or King Antiochus I erected these 30-foot-tall mixed figures of deities to eternally preserve his self-declared sacred nature during 62 BC. Behind the ruins, An artificial mountain of loose gravel guards his tomb, rigged to collapse instantly if anyone attempts to dig inside. Though current imaging technology verifies underground vaults concealed under the loose rocks, what old hex or deadly trap holds them shut even now? High in the cold Peruvian Andes, the wind whistles through the terrifying agricultural terraces of Paisac, clinging to sheer vertical cliffs. Instead of just surviving at this unforgiving elevation, the Inca created distinct local environments through precise blends of dirt and rock strata. They forced delicate crops to grow thousands of feet above their natural habitats, proving their absolute, brilliant mastery over the elements. Such colossal remains demonstrate that genuine mortal brilliance involves transforming the terrain to serve us, rather than ruining the natural world. As darkness falls over the abandoned stone ramparts of the Andes, a haunting final question remains. Once our intricate contemporary agricultural networks ultimately fail, can we recall the historic lessons of endurance etched into these high peaks? Forget the glossy postcards of golden spires floating in a morning mist. In reality, Baden is a sun-baked flatland where travelers climb pitch-black stairs filled with bats and stifling air. In 1855, British explorer Henry Yule documented thousands of brick shrines built during a massive golden age of political ambition. If you bypass the crowds, you may glimpse native monks disappearing into concealed passageways. They still perform private rituals before ancient, fading murals protected from the outside world. When the crimson sun sinks below a landscape of neglected shrines, an enigma echoes amidst the swirling soil. Did foreign invaders destroy this golden empire, or did spiritual exhaustion cause them to walk away? Elevated within the sparse Andean atmosphere, a different puzzle sits dispersed over a desolated region. The Gateway of the Sun looks pristine online, but the reality of Tiwanaku is a desolate high-altitude desert graveyard of massive megalithic blocks near Lake Titicaca. Documented by Pedro Chiesa de Leon in the 16th century, this settlement prospered devoid of wheels, beasts of burden, or metal implements. Remarkably, these massive stones were locked together by poured molten bronze alloy keys, an advanced metal technique that defies traditional logic. Such sophisticated metalworking techniques thoroughly contradict our current understanding of South American ancient history. Yet around 1000 AD, the entire civilization collapsed. Was it a severe water shortage that drove them away, or did they deliberately cover up their settlement before retreating into the peaks? Us plunge into a nightmare preserved in stone. Within Pompeii, the choking aroma of brimstone and volcanic ash remains suspended in the atmosphere. Domenico Fontana stumbled upon the ruins in 1592, uncovering a Roman city frozen by Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. The descending soot served as an ideal historical archive, safeguarding charred loaves, personal wall inscriptions, and the hollows of decayed corpses. Plaster casts of families huddling together capture the true, freezing horror of their final, desperate moments. Maybe they placed too much faith in the ground, resulting in being interred alive within mere hours. Did they refuse to leave to protect their wealth? Or did they completely misunderstand the danger of the mountain? overcome. Lastly, journey across the seas to a secluded frontier where chilly Pacific gusts sweep over Rapa Nui. Here, giant stone moai statues stand in absolute silence, turning their backs to the sea to protect their villages. Discovered by Jacob Roggeveen on Easter Sunday in 1722. This highly isolated land serves as a cemetery for incomplete stone figures, remaining inside the volcanic pit of Rano Raraku. The fallen monuments serve as a grim warning to our modern world. If mortal greed exhausts the native treasures of our planet, even our grandest architectural triumphs fail to prevent societal ruin. The stone eyes of the giants offer no answers, only a cold, silent warning. While ocean swells gradually wear down these rock terraces, one last mystery persists. Are we looking at the graveyard of a vanished culture, or are we staring directly at our own future? One might assume they are scaling a tranquil Mexican mound, when they are in fact ascending a lethal precipice shrine. Here, ancient Aztec eagle and jaguar warriors underwent brutal, bloody initiation rites inside a temple carved directly out of the living mountain. Disregard standard rock-built terrace mounds. Ancient craftsmen painstakingly sculpted this entire monolithic sanctuary from a single massive piece of volcanic bedrock. Within the shadowy round room, initiates slice their flesh to offer blood to deities upon a sculpted rock eagle seat. And why did the Aztecs choose this terrifying vertical cliff? Might they have been accessing a hidden celestial power gateway, or frantically concealing themselves from an unavoidable tragic fate? Now plunge into the crystal clear tropical waters of the Bahamas, where a silent stone highway stretches across the ocean floor. Predators swim above, immense, level limestone slabs positioned in a precise half-mile row. Discovered in 1968, this mysterious formation immediately ignited a fierce global debate. Could this be a normal rock split? Or Edgar Case's mythical Atlantis emerging from the ocean floor? Divers have uncovered double-layered stones and precise mortise-like joints hidden beneath the shifting sand. And when retreating currents draw back the silt, we are left to ponder a straightforward inquiry. And are we looking at regular beach rock or the drowned gateway to a forgotten continent? Departing the marine underworld, we travel to the scorching desert of Egypt, where dynasties created shrines reaching toward the sky. When 19th century explorers arrived, the colossal ruins of Luxor were buried up to their necks in sand, with local villages built right on top of them. Within the hypostyle hall, 134 colossal pillars stand 80 feet tall, constructed without the benefit of industrial machinery. Beneath the modern streets lay a 2-mile sacred path guarded by 1,000 buried stone sphinxes. Which outlawed ceremonies did early rulers practice within the dark center of this grand temple complex? The sandstone walls remain silent, holding their breath. Lastly, explore the humid, chilly chamber close to Xi'an, where 8,000 distinct, full-scale terracotta warriors remain assembled for war. They have guarded the first emperor of China for over 2,000 years. Each countenance is distinct, modeled after actual soldiers who united a divided country. Yet his central tomb remains sealed, guarded by lethal traps and ancient rivers of toxic mercury. The quiet forces demonstrate that regardless of the territory we claim, our most ambitious works ultimately crumble into soil. As we stand before these cold clay eyes, the ultimate question remains. Might we one day venture to unlock the ruler's tomb? Or will his quiet guardians preserve these mysteries indefinitely? Forget the peaceful travel postcards of stone stupas floating in a morning mist. Actually, Borobudur is an airless rock maze smothered under volcanic soot and heavy, damp atmospheric conditions. Unearthed in 1814 by British governor Thomas Stamford Raffles, this colossal 9th century mandala was built as a physical journey towards spiritual enlightenment. However, during the 14th century, the vast site was abruptly deserted, relegated to ruin in the proximity of Mount Merapi. Did a devastating volcanic eruption trigger their desperate flight, or did a sudden shift in political power cause an entire empire to turn its back on this sacred stone mountain? Leaving Java's volcanic valleys, we enter the sweltering climate of Abydos, where the parched wilderness atmosphere smells of historic dust. Here, the Temple of Osiris guards some of Egypt's most deeply buried secrets. Within a shadowy hallway, pioneering researchers came across the notorious helicopter hieroglyph, sparking sensational ideas about prehistoric aviation. While modern scholars proved it was simply a visual mistake of overlapping carvings from two different pharaohs, the site remains deeply mysterious. Which other hidden messages remain buried under the sanctuary's decaying plaster walls, anticipating discovery by some future researcher's eye? Further down the Nile, the pristine stone fortress of Edfu rises majestically from the sand. For generations, this grand sanctuary of the avian deity Horus remained entirely hidden, protecting its interior chambers from looters. When a French expedition uncovered it in 1798, they found hidden chambers containing secret recipes for sacred perfumes. It seems as though the early clergy anticipated their civilization's demise, constructing an ideal vault to endure through history. Did they bury these sacred rituals to protect them from a coming darkness? Or did they realize some secrets were too dangerous for the outside world? Located in Turkey, the peaceful settlement of Amasya is overshadowed by immense stone bluffs rising straight above the streets. Here, massive royal tombs are carved deep into the limestone, looking like floating temples suspended in mid-air. Commissioned by the rulers of Pontus, these massive tombs utilized deceptive partitions and hidden passages to foil treasure hunters. Yet, with several chambers still collapsed and completely unreachable, we are left to wonder. Might these shadowy cliffside portals still conceal the sovereign wealth of a lost kingdom, or did the builders leave behind a hazard we have yet to activate? Eastward along the Silk Road, the ruins of Jauhe challenge everything we know about ancient engineering. Rather than constructing traditional structures stone by stone, the prehistoric Jushi community chiseled this whole stronghold into the ground of an arid river terrace. This thriving subterranean trade hub was hollowed out without a single brick or wooden support. Subsequently, during the 14th century, the active pathways became entirely quiet. Did the brutal Mongol hordes destroy this earth-carved sanctuary? Or did the changing trade routes force the citizens to abandon their underground home to the howling desert winds? Next, immerse yourself in the loud buzzing of cicadas within the Yucatan, where Koba's enormous pyramid towers over the verdant forest treetops. Once a sprawling metropolis connected by ancient white stone highways, it was completely swallowed by the wild forest. Koba demonstrates that the inevitable reclamation of our greatest achievements by nature remains the sole absolute certainty over time. Our maps may look complete, but they only scratch the surface of what has been lost. While the dense rainforest gradually obscures the stone pathways of Koba, one last mystery persists. When our own modern networks eventually collapse, will nature wipe away the concrete roads we built, or will we leave a trace behind? Disregard the glossy travel photos showcasing the immense Nohochmal pyramid. The raw reality of Koba is a suffocating labyrinth of dense jungle stretching between two crocodile-infested lagoons, where 90% of the ancient city remains buried under mud. Home to over 50,000 residents, this vast Maya metropolitan hub controlled regional commerce via sophisticated elevated white stone pathways. Yet this bustling superpower was suddenly abandoned to the wild forest. Which mysteries remain buried within the unexplored sanctuaries situated far below the forest ground? Under the blinding Mexican sun, the massive El Castillo pyramid acts as a physical calendar. At the seasonal equinox, a dark silhouette resembling a winged snake creeps down the rocky stairway. But the real horror lies north, at the sacred cenote. Clergy cast precious gold, jade, and ritual victims down this steep abyss to pacify the rain deity, Chark. Come, did the Maya build their pyramid directly over a second, hidden sinkhole to connect with the gods of death? Elevated on the steep hills of Georgia, a 13-story cavernous sanctuary is chiseled straight into the precipitous rock of Mount Erusheti, built in the 12th century to protect thousands of citizens from Mongol invasions. This underground fortress was a marvel of self-sustaining water systems. As far within, concealed exit passageways permitted the resident clergy to slip into the peak if invaders broke through their defenses. What treasures did they bury in the collapsed chambers that remain completely unexplored? Tucked away in Cambodia's northern forests is Ko Ker, centered around a giant 7-tiered pyramid reminiscent of a Mayan sanctuary. An outcast king broke away from Angkor in the 10th century, declaring himself supreme ruler before his capital was abruptly abandoned. An upright passage descends straight from the peak of the monument down to a concealed room. Did the outcast king build this to honor the gods, or to summon something else? To listen to the booming howler monkeys, travelers must endure a grueling 4-day march across thick forest mire toward El Mirador. This prehistoric superpower boasts the massive La Danta Pyramid, one of the largest structures in the ancient world. However, this immense settlement disintegrated near 150 AD, well prior to the rise of rival classic Maya civilizations. What catastrophic event wiped out this massive civilization, leaving it frozen in time? Perched on the quiet remains of La Danta during twilight above the boundless forest foliage, the delicate structures of fallen regimes seem remarkably insignificant. From Georgia's cliffside tunnels to Yucatan's sacred wells, nature inevitably reclaims what human pride carves into eternity. Our most impressive accomplishment represent nothing more than fleeting impressions upon an unconcerned Earth. When our own modern cities eventually crumble, what secrets will we leave behind for the explorers of tomorrow? Disregard the popular legends concerning Aztec expansion throughout the American Southwest. Montezuma Castle is a peaceful 5-story sanctuary carved into a sheer limestone cliff by the Sinagua people 1,000 years ago. Inhabitants access this elevated sanctuary via timber steps that were easily retracted within moments, deterring attackers without needing masonry fortifications. Or yet, by the 15th century, the community vanished, leaving pristine tools preserved by the dry desert air. Did these people integrate into nearby communities? Or did they escape a subtle danger approaching along the canyon floor? Dive beneath the cold Aegean tides off Greece, and the shifting silt reveals the oldest submerged city on Earth. Petra flourished 5,000 years back as an active Bronze Age commercial port, boasting structured streets and sophisticated plumbing prior to being consumed by a seismic event. But what lies buried deeper in the marine sediment? Come. Might the ocean bed still conceal an elegant, majestic residence that formerly governed this submerged harbor? Traditional pyramids rise at a uniform angle, but Pharaoh Sneferu's bent pyramid breaks the rules with a sudden, panicky, midway slope change. The peculiar configuration served as an urgent structural adjustment designed to stop the giant sepulchre from caving in under its massive load. Deep inside, ancient cedar beams still creak under the shifting limestone, showing the raw terror of the builders. Did the monarch truly venture to lie within this unstable grave, or is his actual corpse buried in a different location? In a windswept Patagonian canyon, the dry air smells of mineral dust and ancient pigments. In this location, Cueva de las Manos showcases numerous outlined human handprints created 13,000 years in the past. Using bone pipes, prehistoric teenagers blew liquid clay over their hands to mark their passage into adulthood. And alongside these outlines are sketches of 3-toed rear prints, prompting the question, were prehistoric trackers recording their game or invoking beast guardians? Perched on a cliff overlooking the turquoise Caribbean, the dark ruins of Tulum served as a vital Mayan trade port and a natural lighthouse. By positioning lanterns behind the openings of El Castillo, mariners successfully avoided the dangerous sharp coral reef. These cliffside refuges and sunken streets prove that we build monuments to secure our place on Earth, only to leave footprints for time to claim. With the sea gradually eroding the rocky structures, one wonders, can modern shore settlements survive? Or are they destined to turn into quiet relics, observed merely by the tides? For centuries, elite scholars laughed off Homer's Troy as a mere bedtime story. Subsequently, in 1870, a driven archaeologist named Heinrich Schliemann excavated a Turkish mound and uncovered scorched masonry. He found a massive fortress. However, this site comprised multiple distinct settlements. It was a 9-layer stack of civilizations, built over 4,000 years. Schliemann secretly exported a massive collection of precious artifacts, labeling the collection Priam's treasure. He was dead wrong, or that these golden riches originated from a society existing many generations prior to the Trojan War, with the deepest layers showing absolute devastation. A chilling question remains. Which historical Troy was truly destroyed on account of Ellen? Now breathe in the heavy scent of sulfur as you step into Akrotiri. Underneath heavy strata of pale volcanic dust, colorful Minoan murals appear just as vivid as when they were first brushed. This advanced Bronze Age paradise boasted multi-story homes and indoor plumbing before a massive eruption shattered the island. Numerous scholars suggest this location represents the actual Atlantis. Unlike Pompeii, archaeologists found 0 bodies and no gold here. Local residents anticipated the volcanic event and managed to escape safely. But where did the survivors of this advanced civilization vanish to? Over the arid flatlands of Iran, the gate of all nations rests in silent decay. Once, foreign envoys trembled here under the gaze of colossal winged bulls. To showcase Persian riches, Darius the Great established this capital, etching harmonious marches straight into the rock face. Yet Alexander the Great burned this entire golden palace to the ground. Could it have been an uncontrolled, intoxicated mishap or deliberate retaliation for the ruin of Athens? Charred clay tablets recently dug from the ash hint at a vast stolen treasury. Did Alexander take their most profound mysteries with him? Nearby, the hot Persian wind blows dust over the monumental tombs of Nakshi Rostam. Enormous sovereign rooms are chiseled straight into a steep precipice. King Darius and his successors slept here in cross-shaped tombs built to look like palaces. Yet situated nearby is an unusual windowless masonry tower lacking any interior steps. Its true purpose remains completely unknown. Peculiar carvings on the tower foundation indicate an exact celestial configuration. Were the kings buried here guarding a cosmic calendar, or something far more mysterious? Now venture into the humid warmth of the Yucatan wilderness. Or here, the mysterious pyramid of the magician rises with unique curved limestone walls. Folklore claims a small being hatched from a witch's egg constructed it in a single night. Yet this kingdom was abandoned. These remnants demonstrate that even great civilizations remain merely fleeting visitors on this planet. And did they run out of vital resources? Or was their time up? Come, avoid the heavily populated Bulgarian shores for a brief time. Stepping into the cold, damp mouth of Kozarnica Cave reveals a dark sanctuary where prehistoric hunters took refuge over 1 million years ago. This profound cave protects the oldest signs of mankind migrating from Africa to Europe, acting as a bustling shelter for Neanderthals, Homo erectus, and Homo habilis. But the real chilling shocker lies deep inside the cave. Scientists unearthed prehistoric animal remains showing intentional side-by-side grooves, which indicates abstract cognition occurred much sooner than previously thought. And did these extinct species share a complex language we have yet to decode? Experience the briny Turkish coastal air while ascending the uneven stone precipices of Kaunos. Suddenly, massive temple facades appear, carved directly into the sheer vertical stone. These 3,000-year-old burial vaults were constructed to exhibit the absolute authority of early monarchs. To protect their gold, architects engineered secret chambers behind false stone walls, sealing the sarcophagi with hidden, heavy pivot stones. However, regardless of these extensive defense systems, looters broke inside and thoroughly pillaged every single vault. And were these royal graves looted, or did the temple priests themselves sell out their dead kings? Across a breezy Maltese crest lies Hagar Kim, a massive sacred structure erected well ahead of the Egyptian pyramids. The site features colossal limestone slabs weighing up to 20 tons, aligned perfectly with the summer solstice sunrise. Ancient inhabitants assumed that solely colossal beings could build such immense monuments. But modern archaeological excavations uncovered a deeply unsettling, silent detail. Notwithstanding the monumental labor required to erect this shrine, researchers discovered 0 skeletal traces. And who actually worshipped here? And did this enigmatic society depart Malta of their own accord, or did some hidden disaster erase them from the earth? For generations, scholars dismissed the Greek kingdom of Mycenae as a myth. And this shifted in 1876, when Heinrich Schliemann uncovered burial plots filled with gold. The fortress walls are so unbelievably massive that ancient Greeks believed only the legendary one-eyed Cyclopes could move the stones. Directly nearby, the treasury of Atreus exists as a dry stone dome, maintaining its global distinction for over 1,000 years. Schliemann claimed he found the death mask of Agamemnon here, but modern dating proves it is centuries older. Which actual monarch was quietly interred under these massive stone barriers? Come in a quiet, sun-baked valley, the dry wind sweeps over Deir el-Medina. This location served as the exclusive hamlet for the skilled craftsmen who constructed the Valley of the Kings. Ancient stone fragments reveal they had their own legal courts, and even organized the first recorded labor strike in history, when their food rations were delayed. Yes. The monumental shrines of the rulers could never have been built without the resilience of these common laborers. History is ultimately shaped by the hands that build, not just the kings who command. If our present-day metropolises collapse, will we transmit tales regarding our leaders, or the modest accounts of our everyday hardships? Forget the postcard of a clean monument standing proud against a clear blue desert sky. Throughout thousands of winters, the Great Sphinx remained buried under drifting dunes, with just its immense head visible. Carved from a single massive limestone ridge, this hybrid beast merges human intellect with feline power. Nevertheless, its facial features and torso display puzzling indications of liquid weathering. How does water scar stone in a bone-dry desert? Subsurface scans have revealed hidden, enclosed compartments directly under the massive claws. Whispers suggest a hidden hall of records lies beneath, protected from excavation. And might it protect an ancient ruler's heritage, or perhaps a sanctuary forgotten by history? Step into the blinding white heat of the Deir el-Bahari cliffs. The parched atmosphere carries the scent of warm rock, providing little comfort until entering the shade of a colossal hillside sanctuary. This 3-tiered sanctuary was built for Queen Hatshepsut, who bypassed traditional gender constraints to rule as a male pharaoh. She even commissioned sculptures of herself represented as the deity Osiris. Following her death, her successor tried to systematically erase her name and images from the stone walls. Still, the extreme depth of those engravings guaranteed her memory persisted through the erasure. Did they try to erase her simply out of political jealousy? or to hide a deeper heresy. Travelers journey to Utah's elevated, arid regions to observe fossilized skeletons fixed within excavation cliffs. But the real mystery lies in the petroglyphs carved onto high sandstone cliffs. Fashioned by the Fremont people over 1,000 years ago, these depictions display empty-chested humanoid shapes sporting unusual caps. These stylized giant designs look remarkably like otherworldly entities. The creators opted to engrave these images along hazardous sheer drops, where a single misstep would prove fatal. The location itself held a crucial spiritual significance. Why endanger oneself on lofty rock faces merely to make an impression on the mountain? What real or spiritual visions did these ancient artists seek to immortalize in stone? Contemporary visitors walk across neat gardens, yet in 1745, a parish priest uncovered a stone maze overrun by dense forest. Deep inside the ruins of Palenque, archaeologists cracked open a secret stone staircase, sealed for centuries. Deep below rested the grave of King Tikal the Great, interred with a highly realistic jade burial mask. His massive sarcophagus lid depicts him in a strange position, surrounded by symbols of the world tree. Alternative historians controversially argued it depicts a prehistoric astronaut piloting a spacecraft. Yet over 90% of Palenque still lies buried under the thick canopy. Which additional sovereign graves remain concealed in the shadows, ready to disrupt our historical understanding? Climb higher into the thin, freezing air of Peru's Sacred Valley. At this site, colossal farming terraces climb the steep inclines like giant stairways. The Inca designed Ollantaytambo as both a fortress and temple. Elevated on drafty peaks, the builders created warehouses known as kunka, using icy winds to preserve their provisions. It was a masterclass in natural engineering. They did not oppose natural forces, they collaborated with them. True human genius lies in adapting to the earth rather than trying to conquer it. While chilly gales blow across the abandoned remnants, one mystery persists. When the next global crisis strikes, will our modern food networks match the resilient design of the Andes, or disregard the idyllic, bright depiction of a peaceful sanctuary? Reaching Wat Banan requires climbing 350 crumbling, slippery stone steps in suffocating jungle heat, surrounded by the shadows of hidden Buddha statues. French explorer Henri Mouhot came across this 11th century monument, constructed to mirror holy Mount Meru using giant blocks of sandstone. Yet locals whisper that deep underground caves beneath the hill house ancient spirits guarding the mountain from grave robbers. With the forest treetops gradually reclaiming these remains, one wonders, what riches remain concealed in the unexplored vaults beneath? Come, now picture the dry, scorching wind of the Mesopotamian plains as you step into the towering ruins of Dara. This colossal Eastern Roman stronghold was erected in 505 AD to repel Persian advances, displaying ramparts marked by early artillery. To survive, Roman engineers built a secret water channel system that could cut off the river to invaders, while keeping the city's vast underground cisterns full. Even though the citadel ultimately collapsed, its lowest passageways remain entirely unexplored. did the fleeing Romans bury their military archives deep within the earth before the city was abandoned? Within Georgia, a peaceful, eroded stone hillside conceals Upristsiche, an expansive 4,000-year-old subterranean settlement. This subterranean fortress once served as a massive pagan hub carved directly into sandstone cliffs above the Macquarie River. Long after Christianity dominated the territory, residents quietly utilized concealed pagan shrines and ceremonial wine presses deep within the gloomy vaults. As the river continues to erode the cliffside, we are left to wonder, what prehistoric secrets still lie locked inside the collapsed caves that archaeologists cannot reach? Leaving the elevated caverns, we transition to the brisk air of the Aegean Sea, where the remnants of Moklos lie submerged below the surface. Over 5,000 years ago, this busy Minoan trading port was connected to Crete by a narrow strip of land. As geological movements submerged the connection, expanding oceans cut off the town, beautifully safeguarding antique golden ornaments and craft studios beneath the tides. As divers mapped the submerged remains, was an abrupt volcanic blast responsible for a frantic evacuation, or did encroaching waters gradually compel them to withdraw? In the dry quarries of Aswan, a colossal 1,200-ton monolith remains fused to the living bedrock. Ordered by Queen Hatshepsut, this incomplete monument was immediately discarded after a large fracture severed the stone during its creation. Workers spent months pounding the stone with heavy diorite balls and inserting wet wooden wedges to split the rock, only for one fatal fracture to ruin their labor. Had it been finished, this colossus would have reached 42 meters in height. How did the ancient Egyptians plan to raise a single stone that weighs more than 3 commercial jetliners? Ultimately, we reach the breezy hillsides of Oxfordshire, where a massive, graceful white horse is etched straight into the chalky earth. And dating back 3,500 years, this geoglyph only survived because local communities performed a traditional scouring ritual for generations to keep the chalk clean. This demonstrates that antiquity is protected not only through masonry, but also through the active recollections of people preserving their heritage. Was this giant horse meant to guide the sun god across the sky? Or is it a message waiting for a future we have yet to reach? Ignore the bright Bulgarian coastlines promoted in vacation guides. High in the cold mountain peaks, Perperikon rises as a massive stone city carved directly into the living rock. Inhabited for over 7,000 years, the site formerly contained the famed missing temple of Dionysus. Here, Thracian priests poured sacred wine to predict the conquests of Alexander the Great. Nevertheless, a haunting question persists above the scorched remains. Why did they fail to foresee the brutal siege that eventually left their sacred sanctuary in ashes? Force your way through the dense Javanese forest to confront the lofty stone columns of Prambanan, ascending like sharp, dark peaks toward the heavens. This 9th century Hindu complex was built to assert dominance, only to be abandoned to the forest for hundreds of years. Regional folklore asserts the main shrine contains the fossilized remains of a noblewoman turned to rock by an angry nobleman. Modern visitors still claim to feel an eerie, cold draft surrounding her stone statue. And is her confined soul still bound to the chilly stone, or are we hearing the breeze? From above, the massive concentric terraces of Moray look like ancient alien landing pads. Actually, these structures served as a progressive and incredibly complex farming research station. Spotted from the air in 1932, these circular depressions generate temperature differences of up to 15 degrees Celsius. The Inca developed specialized earth strata to evaluate plant resilience within the unforgiving Andean environment. Yet, this brilliant laboratory was suddenly abandoned. Were they short on years, or was the local weather changing too rapidly for their survival methods? Smell the sharp volcanic dust at Cuicuilco, where a massive circular pyramid sits half submerged under ancient black lava. Over 2,000 years in the past, this prosperous city was entirely entombed following the explosion of neighboring Jitl volcano. Excavators found domestic items left behind in a panic, suggesting residents had only hours to escape the slow-moving disaster. Since the heart of the structure remains sealed under dense basalt, a highly unsettling mystery persists. What secrets of early Mesoamerican civilization lie trapped forever inside this volcanic tomb? While many tourists recognize the sleek pyramids of Giza, Djoser's Step Pyramid represented the earliest giant masonry structure on Earth. Designed by the polymath Imhotep, this cosmic staircase sits above a 3-mile labyrinth of hidden shafts and chambers. Far within, thousands of turquoise mosaics replicate the aquatic abysses of the netherworld, guarding the monarch's spirit. As researchers clear the blocked pathways, they face a chilling riddle. Which secrets did Imhotep conceal at the base of the lowest, blocked upright tunnel? Now the dry wind of the Syrian desert whistles through the columns of Palmyra. Formerly a Silk Road commercial center home to 200,000 residents, the desert sand gradually consumes its historical sanctuaries. These ruins prove that no matter how high we build, our creations are temporary marks on an indifferent earth. While arid breezes persist in obscuring their memories, one last mystery endures. When our own modern cities eventually crumble, what secrets of our ambition will survive the test of time? The Ephesian remnants resemble a peaceful gallery beneath the blazing sunlight. But beneath this ancient Roman capital, gladiators once fought to the death in a giant 25,000-seat theater, while wealthy citizens used a secret passage linking the Grand Celsus Library directly to a hidden brothel across the street. And, while disease and accumulating sediment gradually blocked the port, did departing citizens hide outlawed manuscripts under the rocky roadways? History books once dismissed the Hittites as a minor biblical tribe, but the discovery of Hattusa revealed a fortified mountain capital that rivaled Egypt's greatest pharaohs. Far under the giant, jewel-layered Sphinx Gate rested vaulted stone passages engineered to initiate unexpected counterstrikes against hostile forces. Yet, around 1200 BC, the city burned to the ground, leaving us to wonder, did foreign maritime invaders breach their gates, or did internal rebellion destroy the empire from within? Venture within the gloomy maze-like remnants of Knossos, where the fragrant aroma of Cretan herbs gives way to an abrupt cold. This massive labyrinth of over 1,000 interconnected rooms featured advanced indoor plumbing long before Rome, inspiring the terrifying myth of the Minotaur. As this maritime power abruptly disintegrated in a violent disaster near 1400 BC, did an oceanic surge wreck their armada? Or did the maze's beast ultimately devour its makers? Buried in desert sand until the 19th century, the Temple of Medinet Habu preserves the brilliant paints of Ramesses III. The giant engraved murals illustrate a frantic conflict with the enigmatic Sea Peoples, alongside the first documented labor strike when palace craftsmen rebelled over late food deliveries. And since the ancient carvings completely omit the invaders' origins, we are left to ask, who were these mysterious warriors, and where did the survivors flee? Crisp, pine-scented breeze of Colorado conceals Cliff Palace, a breathtaking, multi-level settlement constructed straight into a steep cliffside. Here, ancient builders climbed vertical cliffs using tiny toeholds and designed subterranean caivers with clever ventilation systems to keep sacred fires burning safely. However, their rapid evacuation during the 13th century prompts an unsettling inquiry. Were they running from severe water shortages, or an aggressive foe scaling the gorge walls, or standing among these silent ruins as the sun sets over the water? The grand designs of lost empires feel incredibly fragile. Looking from the archives of Ephesus to the heights of Mesa Verde, we discover that neither lofty barricades nor profound archives can preserve a society whose end is near. As the shifting sands and rising tides slowly reclaim these stones, we are left to ask, when our own modern cities eventually crumble, will future explorers find our actual achievements, or will they only see the legends we left behind? An immense crimson cliffside within the Peruvian Andes looks entirely like a natural formation from afar. But a closer look reveals a flat, 7-meter stone alcove with a keyhole-like slot carved into its center. Found in 1996, regional myths assert an Inca cleric employed a holy gold medallion to open this stargate to flee Spanish invaders. Archaeologists suggest a more earthly explanation, arguing the monument is actually an unfinished Inca quarry project. Still, if this was merely a stone excavation site, what unexpected emergency compelled the masons to desert this holy peak? The call of howler monkeys cuts through the thick jungle humidity as massive limestone temples overlook two brilliant blue-green lakes. Uncovered in 1904 by researcher Teoberto Malla, this extensive Maya city comprises over 500 buildings situated inside a nature sanctuary. No stream flowed nearby. The settlement was brilliantly designed to collect periodic rainfall from adjacent pools, supporting its vast populace throughout dry spells. Yet, did their sophisticated water system fail them when a historic drought struck the region? While arid wilderness gales blow outside, the atmosphere within these gloomy stone chambers retains the fragrance of historic incense and thousands of colorful Buddhist paintings. Discovered by a Taoist monk in 1900, these caves preserve a unique artistic blend of Chinese, Indian, and Persian cultures. Monk Wang Yuanlu discovered a walled-off chamber filled with thousands of historical scrolls concealed to shield them from plunderers. The desert air preserved them. Which outlawed mysteries did the clerics seek to safeguard by blocking access to this repository? While tourists flock to Santorini's beaches, High atop Mesa Vuno lies a windswept Spartan fortress built as a strategic military lookout. The defenders prepared themselves for a fierce assault. Established by Theras, Spartan officers lived in latrines on the slopes, while common soldiers held the harsh, rocky summit. Concealed drainage channels etched in volcanic rock permitted the troops to survive without a natural spring. Did a sudden volcanic eruption finally force these hardened warriors to abandon their fortress? The aroma of forest evergreen drifts about as giant rocky foundations constructed from immense fitted blocks emerge on an isolated crest. Discovered in 1890, this remote mountain city features Olmec-style ball courts and temples built by an unidentified culture. It persists as an unremembered enigma. The extreme difficulty of accessing this mountaintop has kept its deepest chambers completely unexcavated for over a century. Which prehistoric craftsmen succeeded in transporting these heavy stone blocks to such high summits? Cold mountain winds howl over the multi-tiered pyramid of Muyu Muyu, culminating in a circular sacrificial platform. Constructed by the Chanka culture, this holy site served as a hub for sun worship prior to subjection by the Incas. These silent ruins prove that even the most secure mountaintop fortresses eventually crumble before the march of time. The wilderness always retains control. As the sun sets over Sonda, we must ask, what warning did these conquered builders leave for future empires? The tranquil ground below us functions as a packed repository of unrecorded journeys, showing that untamed nature formerly passed as the bustling center of vanished ancient civilizations. How did a Stone Age village remain frozen in time under the sand? Which source fed the endless flames of a high pirate hideout? And why did one of history's largest peaceful cities vanish without a single readable record? Moving seaside hills, subterranean gas releases, and extreme weather variations entombed these ancient wonders, locking away their mysteries. But when we dig beneath the legends, do we find monuments to human survival or warnings of our own inevitable end? Walkers currently observe just quiet, verdant peaks in Dorset, yet scientific digs during 1934 uncovered a violent Iron Age battleground hidden under the turf. Originally a Neolithic gathering space 6,000 years ago, it became a massive fortress of concentric ramparts before Roman legions conquered it. Far under the soil, researchers uncovered skeletal remains with Roman metal missile projectiles still wedged within their vertebrae. And did the survivors submit to Roman rule, or did they carry their sacred traditions into the shadows? Throughout Turkey, the refreshing Mediterranean wind bears the pungent odor of sulfur escaping from stone cracks. Olympos was once a democratic beacon, yet its strategic coastal caves made it a chaotic haven for lawless pirates who amassed immense wealth. Close by, the ceaseless flames of Mount Chimera, fed by leaking methane gas, have glowed for thousands of years, acting as an organic beacon. And did the ancients view this fire as a gift from the gods, or did they fear it as a gateway to the underworld? Though Egypt commemorated violent victories in rock carvings, Harappa flourished in complete harmony 4,600 years ago. They engineered advanced grid-based streets and complex sanitation systems, yet their unique script remains undeciphered. Puzzlingly tangible remains indicate an abrupt deterioration in community wellness immediately prior to the settlement being deserted. Did a deadly epidemic sweep through their perfect streets, or did they simply pack up and walk away? During 1850, an intense tempest swept the vegetation from a hillock to uncover Skara Brae, a Neolithic settlement. Preserved perfectly by the sand, these 5,000-year-old homes feature identical stone beds and a shared drainage system, suggesting a deeply egalitarian society. However, the inhabitants abandoned highly valuable decorated rock spheres and private belongings. Did a catastrophic storm force a midnight escape? Or were they fleeing something far worse? Currently, the intense Indian climate heats the high stone remnants of Hampi, formerly the most affluent metropolis across India. By 1500, this metropolis boasted the magnificent Vitala temple with its legendary stone chariot. Still, collapsed regimes demonstrate that prosperity and armed force cannot withstand the gradual decay of time. As when our own modern cities eventually fall, will we leave behind monuments of beauty or just the rubble of our pride? The masonry structures we dig up currently represent no quiet tombs, but loud testaments to absolute governmental arrogance. But how did colossal basalt warriors survive the total collapse of a Mesoamerican superpower? Then, for what reason did prominent academics adamantly assert that the finest early cavern paintings were contemporary fabrications? And what secrets still lie hidden inside a volcanic desert oasis once guarded by ancient tribes? Aggressive expansions and scholarly pride submerged these locations beneath blankets of legend. And if we dig deeper, will we uncover the gods they worshipped, or the dark deeds they tried to hide? Across the arid, sandy expanses of Hidalgo, 4 15-foot-tall stone statues tower over a degraded steppe temple. These basalt warriors were not simple statues, but heavy structural pillars holding up a roof of blood sacrifice. Their stone shoulders bear sculpted butterfly bucklers, protecting the Toltec netherworld eternally. Then, did these sentinels fail to protect their empire, or did they witness a shocking betrayal from within? Enter the chilly, moist recesses of a Spanish cave, sensing damp earth and prehistoric powder. Suddenly, your torch reveals vivid red bison charging across the uneven ceiling. Unearthed in 1879, mainstream researchers rejected these early artistic wonders as modern fakes. Yet, the cave artists used the natural rock curves to make the beasts move in the flickering firelight. Which frightening forewarning prompted them to lock these supernatural works inside complete obscurity? Rising from the flat, scorched Iraqi desert, a colossal mud brick mountain touches the sky. Erected 4,000 years in the past, 3 grand stairways meet at the shrine of the lunar deity. To prevent collapse, Sumerian architects hid secret drainage channels inside the core to release internal moisture. And yet, what frantic ceremonies did supreme clergy conduct at the peak once the wasteland was cloaked in night? In Thailand, the damp scent of river mud clings to a stone Buddha head choked by banyan roots. This place was Ayutthaya, a magnificent international capital aggressively razed to the ground in 1767. Within a few years, wild tigers and elephants roamed the charred, silent palace halls. Might the murky channel bottom still conceal the rich fortunes of the Siamese monarchs? In Saudi Arabia, a green oasis erupts from a jagged, black volcanic valley. This was Kaibar, a heavily defended outpost ultimately broken by the changing paths of warfare. Its fallen clay walls remind us that even the strongest physical fortress cannot withstand time. Should our modern capitals fall? Shall our legacy focus on the harmony we fostered or the barriers we built? Our maps are deceptively complete, masking silent graveyards of advanced civilizations that history chose to erase. And in what way did Stone Age people position burial chambers to match the winter solstice? And why did a massive time metropolis vanish? Furthermore, what motivated Vikings to travel to North America? Shifting trade, civil war, and climate shifts forced them out. Yet when we excavate under the earth, do we uncover solutions or cautions? In Ireland's Boyne Valley, grassy mounds hide a 5,000-year-old stone labyrinth older than the pyramids of Giza. On each winter solstice, a single light beam pierces the dark chamber grave, illuminating the central room. Mysterious spiral carvings on giant curbstones baffle researchers. And could these really represent early astronomical charts? And did these builders possess a mathematical understanding of the cosmos we have lost? Under the heavy climate of central Thailand, the parched earth remnants of She Thep emerge from the wilderness floor. This grid-aligned capital featured sophisticated canals before its sudden and mysterious collapse. Archaeologists recently uncovered communal burial pits containing wealthy remains, pointing to an unexpected disaster. Did a deadly plague sweep through these streets? Or did climate change force a panicked evacuation? Presently, these silent Spanish remains appear tranquil, though they formerly constituted a legendary city built of marble, gold, and basins of gleaming mercury. Medina Azahara was looted and burned during a brutal 10th century civil war. Fearful regional residents assumed the blackened remains harbored spirits, keeping the location undisturbed for generations. What forbidden secrets did the caliph's scribes bury to protect them from the rebels? During the British tiger hunt in 1819, explorers unexpectedly stumbled upon 30 hand-carved temples tucked away within a steep Indian canyon. These caves served as a quiet monsoon retreat for Buddhist monks. Astoundingly, the colorful wall paintings incorporate organic minerals that luminesce, enabling quiet contemplation without relying on smoky lamps. Did the monks suddenly flee an invading army, or did their wealthy patrons collapse? The breezy coastlines of Newfoundland conceal a Norse outpost, demonstrating that Vikings crossed the Atlantic centuries ahead of Columbus. Discovered using ancient Icelandic sagas, the site contains the continent's first iron forge. Researchers likewise discovered foreign butternut wood, indicating that these travelers journeyed much further south for commercial exchange. And did bloody conflicts with indigenous tribes drive them away? Or does a larger colony lie hidden? Across the arid Peruvian landscape, intense sunlight beats down on 6 giant pyramids ascending out of the dirt. Dating back 5,000 years, Tikal is the oldest city in the Americas, built by a peaceful society lacking weapons. Rather, excavation teams uncovered melodic instruments crafted out of condor skeletons. Why did this peaceful society abandon their sanctuary? Was an intense water shortage responsible for depleting their reservoirs? Standing amidst empty stone doorways as the wind sweeps through, the grand designs of dead empires feel incredibly fragile. Spanning Irish burial sites to Peruvian monuments, these ancient engineers mastered challenging terrains, yet ultimately vanished into history. True discovery is realizing that even our grandest achievements are merely temporary marks on an indifferent Earth. As natural forces gradually wipe away our tracks, what mysteries shall we leave behind? Our maps are deceptively complete, masking silent graveyards of civilizations. By what means did an impressive Roman metropolis become submerged in a poisonous, disease-infested marsh? Did a towering ziggurat inspire the myth of the Tower of Babel? Furthermore, what compelled a struggling, famished community to construct an opulent stronghold upon an inaccessible precipice? Rising waters and paranoia isolated these strongholds, leaving them to the dust. Yet, once we penetrate their portals, do we encounter glory or haunting accounts of their last moments? Step into the quiet Albanian marshes of Butrint, and you see peaceful, glass-like waters. However, the silt conceals an injured city that outlasted Greeks and Romans, eventually suffocating due to its expanding, poisonous bog. Come, to keep their grand temples functional, desperate citizens built wooden walkways over the rising tides. Simultaneously, within the sandy flatlands of Iraq, the ziggurat of Borsippa is so giant that historical travelers confused it with the Tower of Babel. As the waters swallowed Butrint, the survivors fled. Did they transport their holy items to a different, concealed shrine, or did the artifacts disappear permanently under the dark silt? In the scorching Algerian desert, the wind howls through the geometric streets of Timgad. Unexpectedly, this organized Roman settlement contained an immense communal book depository situated inside a desert. Lost for centuries, the shifting Sahara sands acted as a protective vault, keeping its arches intact. Continuing eastward, the round citadel of Petra resisted Rome, relying on a giant dual-layered rampart and sulfur-poisoned projectiles. Yet Petra was suddenly sacked and abandoned. Which items did the clergy inter under the masonry tables before the settlement entrances were breached? Today, modern highways in Illinois rush past green grassy hills. Yet under this earth rests Cahokia, an ancient empire home to 20,000 inhabitants, surpassing the size of contemporary London. Its crowning achievement, Monk's Mound, is a colossal earthen pyramid built basket by basket over centuries. However, an immense deluge from the Mississippi River transformed their agricultural fields into an unhealthy pool, destroying their community structure. They abandoned this giant city without leaving a single written word. And did those who remained disperse throughout the wild? Or did they engage in internal conflict amidst the mire? To feel the raw, absolute paranoia of ancient rulers, stand on the dizzying cliffs of Masada. King Herod constructed this highly guarded citadel upon an inaccessible peak, designing cavernous reservoirs to trap seasonal torrents and supply his recreational baths. Yet, when the Roman army finally breached the walls in 73 AD, they found no living defenders. The whole independent community preferred collective death to a life of bondage. Did a few survivors escape down the cliffside, or did they take the location of Herod's treasures to their graves? With twilight descending across the Dead Sea, these giant barricades appear peaceful and remarkably vulnerable. From the drowned streets of Butrint to the sands of Timgad, we realize that no wall is thick enough to protect a civilization from internal decay. While our current urban landscapes rise higher, a question emerges. Are we building monuments that will stand? Or are we simply carving the ruins of tomorrow? The remnants of the biblical era represent more than sandy excavations. They stand as real physical testaments close to our contemporary metropolises. How did Megiddo become the stage for Armageddon? And did some sovereign erect an immense structure to defy the heavens? And why did Ani vanish? Both military conflicts and seismic tremors destroyed these sacred sites. But what happens when we look past the myths to find the real people? Present-day visitors observe an idyllic grassy mound, yet they tread upon the stratified remains of 26 forgotten societies. Megiddo's strategic position made it the ultimate ancient battlefield, giving rise to the name Armageddon. Far under the citadel, constructors excavated a 70-meter stone passage to tap into a hidden aquifer. Did this bloody past inspire prophecy, or is the ground waiting? Scent the arid soil of the Iraqi wasteland while walking through the majestic blue Ishtar Gate. Nebuchadnezzar built the colossal ziggurat that inspired the Tower of Babel myth. However, the legendary Hanging Gardens vanished without leaving any material proof of existence. Then, did this oasis actually exist, or was it ancient propaganda to mask a collapsing empire? Explorers observed an empty wilderness during 1859, unknowingly standing above a 10,000-year-old settlement. Jericho features a massive stone tower built 9,000 years ago, long before the pyramids. Though holy texts attribute the ruined barriers to horns, scientists point to sequential seismic activities. Did the Israelites witness a tectonic catastrophe, or did they orchestrate a forgotten siege? Savor the saline Sea of Galilee air blowing past uneven dark volcanic remains. This quiet fishing village served as the central headquarters for Jesus' miracles. Under the pale limestone structures rests the dark volcanic base where his sermons truly occurred. Did the citizens flee an economic shift, or did they abandon their homes to protect a holy relic? Though the Turkish frontier appears deserted, detailed inspection uncovers the striking red sandstone ruins of Ani. Once a wealthy Silk Road hub with over 1,000 churches, it fell silent. Beneath the ground exists a hidden system of stone-carved homes. Did the citizens vanish underground during the siege, or did they scatter to escape a brutal slaughter? The buzzing of forest cicadas envelops an eerie sanctuary sculpted to resemble a colossal jaguar mouth. Explored in 1886, the Mayan capital of Ekbalam was ruled by a paranoid king who built massive defensive walls. As clergy utilized this jaguar mouth for interring wealthy citizens alongside jade. Did they flee an invasion, or did they bury their kingdom to hide a prophecy? As you stand amidst barren stone archways while breezes blow through the wreckage, early glorious predictions seem remarkably delicate. From Megiddo to the jungle tombs of Ekbalam, sacred empires eventually return to dust. Genuine conservation means understanding that even our most magnificent creations remain only transient. Are we decoding warnings of a forgotten past, or are we staring directly at our own future? The densest forests across our globe represent no untamed nature, but rather the foliage-covered tombs of giant ancient civilizations. How did a sacred Mayan metropolis vanish into a forest of red corn? Which inscriptions did prehistoric Baltic mariners etch into the chilly Swedish stone? And why did a Spanish mountaintop garrison suddenly abandon their home? Severe environmental changes and infectious diseases compelled these craftsmen to escape, abandoning their ambitions to plant overgrowths. But do we find monuments to survival, or warnings about our own fragile future? Present-day visitors observe a flawless reserve, yet explorer Peter Harrison discovered Chacoban, concealed by generations of forest vegetation in 1972. Once painted in brilliant red, this massive ritual center remains 90% hidden today. Nevertheless, archaeological teams unearthed hidden biological gifts, demonstrating that inhabitants visited well after the town's collapse. Did they pray to revive their empire? Or were they trying to seal a dark prophecy inside the stone? Sense the freezing Swedish gale along with the aroma of moist pine foliage atop Santa Trega in Spain, while Tanum's flat rocks depict prehistoric naval battles. The Celtic mountaintop of Santa Trega features strange circular stone houses. Engravings showing double-prowed vessels demonstrate that these prehistoric groups utilized sophisticated seafaring methods well before the Vikings. But with no weapons found at Santa Trega, did they live in peace, or did they hide a secret defense? Though Nakum remained concealed within a damp river valley until 1905, Zibashaltun was an immense settlement supporting 25,000 residents. Its famous Temple of the Seven Dolls is aligned so precisely that the equinox sun shines directly through its stone portals. Far under the pavement, researchers discovered 7 terracotta statuettes illustrating anatomical abnormalities, suggesting a devastating epidemic. Were these builders trying to conquer the wild, or hiding from the collapse of their allies? When lingering among the quiet rock complexes of Nakum during twilight, the ambitious projects of these extinct cultures seem remarkably delicate. From hidden red pyramids to carved stone ships, humanity has always sought to carve its mark into the earth. Real understanding lies in recognizing that our finest landmarks represent only fleeting scars upon a world that ultimately absorbs all things. When our own modern cities crumble, what secrets will we leave behind for the explorers of tomorrow? Our cartography seems falsely exhaustive, but under the common ground rests a graveyard of extinct religions and fearful monarchs who etched their anxiety into rock. How did a medieval community survive on Ireland's wettest cliffs? Which event transformed a majestic Canaanite mansion into a doomed pile of cinders? And why did a massive Aztec temple end up buried directly under a modern metropolis? Geological activity, aggressive occupations, and governmental fear alienated these places, abandoning them to the control of plant life and silt. But what happens when we look past the legendary curses to find the real humans who built them? Did they construct these edifices to safeguard their heritage, or were they escaping a danger we still have not identified? Step onto the freezing cliffs of Kerry, Ireland, where the relentless Atlantic winds howl over the dry stone walls of Lia Canabuel. During 1939, researchers excavated this area anticipating a modest agricultural village, yet they instead revealed a highly defended shelter. Now fly thousands of miles to the scorching, dusty ruins of Hazor in Israel, the largest Canaanite city of its era. At this site, historical records are preserved in soot, mirroring the fierce biblical invasion of Joshua. Deep under the palace ashes, researchers discovered mutilated statues of local gods, with their hands and heads systematically chipped off. Did the hostile forces perform this ritual destruction to destroy the town's spirit? Or did a suffering, hungry populace rebel against their leaders? In the Negev desert, the heavy aroma of dried sagebrush and ancient frankincense still clings to the ruins of Avdat. This prosperous Nabatean station commanded the renowned perfume corridor starting from Petra, amassing incredible fortunes. Yet, in a single day in the 7th century, a devastating earthquake shattered its Byzantine churches, trapping coins and jewelry under falling arches. Concurrently, across the stony terrain of Sardinia, the creators of Cerruti left a maze comprising thousands of dry stone towers. These structures served as both elite fortresses and ritual chambers. Which frightening danger compelled a whole island populace to spend generations stacking giant igneous rocks without a single drop of mortar. In 1785, colonial officials hunting for illegal tobacco farms in Veracruz hacked through the jungle and stood paralyzed. Ahead of them stood the Pyramid of the Niches at El Tajin, containing exactly 365 gloomy, vacant rock cells. It was a massive physical calendar built to track the solar year. As further southward within El Salvador, the historic remnants of Tazumal remained buried under a giant, verdant forest hill until the 1940s. Excavators tunneling into the pyramid's core found royal tombs packed with glittering jade and sacrificial remains. Did those early clerics employ these hollows to honor solar cycles? Or were they anxiously endeavoring to forecast a celestial event that ultimately destroyed them? Close your eyes and listen to the deafening roar of Mexico City traffic. Then open them to see the damp, excavated heart of Tenochtitlan. Construction laborers in 1978 unexpectedly hit an immense round rock sculpture representing the dismembered deity Coyolxauhqui. This marked the entrance to the Templo Mayor, where Aztec priests sacrificed thousands of captured warriors to feed the gods of war and rain. Spanish conquerors attempted to conceal this violent past by erecting their main temple immediately adjacent to the remnants. They thought they had erased the empire forever. Yet the masonry persists, provoking an unsettling inquiry. Which other ancient deities remain asleep right under our contemporary roads? Standing before these scarred altars, the grand designs of dead empires feel incredibly fragile. Stretching from Irish bluffs to Mexican sites, mankind has consistently utilized rock to etch its legacy into eternity. Yet the true lesson of these monuments is that nature always claims the final victory. Our cement and window pane structures shall ultimately mingle with their powder. As the wind erases our footprints, keep seeking the truth of these lost worlds with impossible places. And once our current metropolises eventually turn to dust, which mysteries shall we bequeath to the discoverers of the future?